Oh, it's clapback time, baby. Remember a few days ago when Elaine, Amber's attorney, went on to the CBS Mornings and Today Show to talk about the verdict and how she was blaming the judge, the jury, pretty much everyone but herself, and not taking any accountability. Now, they said Johnny Depp's team didn't want to appear on the CBS Mornings. I have an interview of them when they went on the Today Show and also Good Morning America. And no doubt they're going to be talking about what Elaine had said on these interviews.
For you all, what was the key to victory?
I think the key to victory was focusing on the facts and the evidence. I think he was able to connect with the jury and the general public and tell what really happened in this relationship.
I think the most important thing to take from that entire statement was the fact that they focused on the facts and the evidence. Elaine just failed to convince the jury that Amber was a victim.
What was his reaction when you told him?
He was over the moon. The weight of the world had been taken off his shoulders.
He also went on TikTok yesterday thanking his supporters on social media.
I guarantee you the first few weeks of your FYP will just be flooded with your trial.
Ms. Heard's lawyers put out a statement yesterday saying the verdict was a setback for women's rights.
I think it's disappointing. We're only speaking about what happened in this case, right? And the facts in this case were overwhelmingly positive for Johnny, and the verdict speaks for itself.
Even their clapback to Elaine is so professional, you know? It's not like she's pointing fingers and blaming anyone, but Camille did state that it's disappointing for an attorney to be blaming others after a loss of a case. And like I was saying before, it is just showing signs of a sore loser. There's no accountability being taken in.
Victims advocates have argued that the verdict is going to have a chilling effect on domestic violence victims, and it's a blow to the Me Too movement.
I think our response to that is we encourage any victim to come forward. Domestic violence doesn't have a gender.
Which is what I was saying again before when Elaine was saying it's a setback for all women. Why is it gender specific? You know, DV victims, DA victims, they can be men or women, right? So no, this is not a setback for the Me Too movement or women. It's a setback for liars and people like Amber. Believe all people, all victims, male or female, but don't believe Amber.
What was your impression of Ms. Heard's impression on the jury?
I think that her impression on the jury was what it was.
She wanted to say she was a lying bitch, bro. For a lack of better words, yes, it was what it was. She was embellishing stories and ideas, and she was claiming some pretty wild things that would have left her either in the hospital or dead. But here she is. And, you know, all that looking at the jury, I'm sure anyone would find that uncomfortable.
Something that I focused on and we focused on in that cross-examination was using her words against her. Every question that was asked was tied to something she had said previously.
I think there was a real contrast. Johnny took ownership of a lot of things to the jury, that she had an answer for everything and she wasn't taking accountability for anything. And I think that made a difference.
Amber hasn't taken accountability for anything because, as we all know, she too has an immense problem with alcohol and drugs. She never once said that. Sorry, not said it, but taken accountability for it and said that maybe some of her actions were due to this or that. But Amber always has an answer for something. Someone is always wrong. It's not her. It's not her team. It's either the witnesses, the judge, the jury, Johnny's team. You know, there's always something happening. It can't possibly just be her. Maybe people just don't like you. You ever think of that, Amber?
As Mr. Depp testified, and as we both made clear in our respective closings, this was never about money for Mr. Depp. So this was about restoring his reputation, and he's done that.
What Johnny was standing for from the beginning hasn't changed as it got to the end. All he really wanted was the truth to be out there. He's not trying to, as he said, impoverish Amber. Hats off to you, Johnny. Really happy for you. And again, Amber, understand they're not trying to take your money from you if you have any left.
Your life has changed a lot in the last several weeks. You got made partner this week. Congratulations.
Thank you very
Both
much.
of you have also become something of social media stars.
Everyone around the world has seen what they've done for Johnny and what they have the potential to do for other clients, which is great for their career and great for their image in general. The idea that they are pretty much becoming a public figure is a great thing for men and women and children and all that look to them for inspiration and say they want to get into law. Or you're just taking their work ethic in and being inspired to do more. It's a great thing.
If I can be an inspiration to young women that want to go to law school and study and work hard, then it was all worth it.
I think Virginia was a good venue for some legal and other reasons, and it has a fabulous court system, tremendous judges and fair juries. And
Ms. Heard did win on one count of defamation. Will you be appealing that?
Again, I think it's premature to say, but if you look at the context of the verdict, and it was a total win for Johnny.
It's great that the professionalism is still showing. You know, after the whole trial is done, he's praising the justice system in Virginia and the jury, the judge, and all the hard work that's been put into this entire case, because he understands, and they both understand, that it's not just them as a legal team that's doing all the work. You know, there's the jury and the judge that has to do work as well, and he's acknowledging that, which is great. And even though Amber did win one count of a defamation, Ben is still keeping it professional and being like, hey, you know, it was fair. It's not like he was blaming the jury for not giving them a unanimous full-out win and giving Amber nothing. They were fair and just, and there was a compromise that was made. And that's proof in itself that the jury wasn't influenced by anything but the evidence at hand. All right, and now we just do a quick brush over today's interview, and it'll be just good to look at it because this is where Elaine was also on. So I'm sure they'll run it back and, you know, and be a bit more specific to the things that she said.
Depp thanked those supporters yesterday in his first post on a newly created TikTok account, writing, "We did the right thing together, all because you cared."
I wouldn't be surprised if I see Johnny Depp doing some TikTok dances in the coming few weeks.
Quick disclosure, my husband has done consulting work for the Depp legal team, but not in connection with this interview. So with that aside...
Fine, no one's gonna blame you if you were or weren't on Johnny's side. Oh, but I get it. You're just trying to protect your ass, but I don't know. It seemed a bit unnecessary there, didn't it? Yeah, we did do some work with Johnny's lawyers, but just so you guys know, all the Amber bashers out there, I'm not on his side. I mean, I'm not on Amber's side too, Johnny Depp fans. I'm just an interview. I just hit on today's news.
What was his reaction in the moment?
An overwhelming sense of relief. I was speaking with another friend of ours, a mutual friend of Johnny's and ours, and he said, I haven't seen Johnny smile like that in 6 years.
The weight of the world is off of his shoulders. He's got his life back.
You can see that there's this bond between the lawyers and the client, and it's more than just business to them, as opposed to Elaine and Amber. As much as I want to believe that there's more than just business between them, it just seems like a lot of fabricated BS. You know what I mean? The connection doesn't seem as genuine and real.
I should mention the jury did find Mr. Depp responsible for defamation for one of the statements made. How do you square that finding with the rest of the verdict, Camille?
I think it's just the verdict is overwhelmingly positive for Johnny, and it was unanimous. There were 7 people that decided he was defamed.
It is what it is. It was very just. The jury made the decision for a reason. However, at the end of the day, it was an overwhelming, unanimous win for Johnny, and that's all that really matters to them. I didn't care about the money, so the fact that it's less than the 50 mil that was originally planned for, it's fine because, again, the truth is out, and that's all that matters.
Was there evidence that was suppressed for a valid legal reason that might have made a difference?
I think that was very disappointing to hear that and to hear her impugn the character of the jury. The evidence came in that should come in, and the judge was very fair to both sides.
You'd think after the case they would, accept the facts and come to terms with the fact that they've lost, but man, you can't blame the people that are judging you. It's like when you're being rude to the waiting staff. You're guaranteed to have the chef spit in your food, okay? Don't piss off the jury members because they're gonna spit on your case.
As we all know, Johnny Depp sued The Sun, a newspaper in the United Kingdom. He lost that case, the judge finding that claims by the newspaper that he was a wife beater were substantially true.
It was a different process, right? And also, Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard in this case were the parties. They had different disclosure obligations. We disagree. The overwhelming evidence that was presented in this case in Virginia far exceeded what was presented in the UK, and we believe the jury got it right.
Every time Elaine says, oh, we won then, there's this, that. Well, technically, again, you guys didn't win. You weren't involved in the case like that, so... yeah.
We've seen high-profile trials before, but this is the social media age. Do you believe the jurors saw any of that, were swayed by any of that?
No, I don't think there's any reason to believe that the jurors violated their oath. And again, that suggestion was disappointing to hear.
And it's like the same when the witness comes onto the stand to testify under oath, okay? If they lie, that's perjury. It's against the law. It would be the same for the jury to go home And it will essentially be breaking the law for them to go on social media and then have their decisions swayed by that. I'm not saying it's impossible. Yeah, maybe jury members may have looked at their social media accounts and seen what was online, but in a professional standpoint, I doubt they would have let it sway their opinion. It just seems that she herself doesn't have faith in the justice system, which is funny because I think you're on the wrong side to begin with it.
She said it would have been unavoidable because it's on TikTok, it's on social media. Now it's everywhere.
It is everywhere, but at the same time, they were admonished every single night. And they had a tremendous amount of respect, I think, for the court and the process, and they were doing the best that they could.
And also, they know they're being watched by the world, so obviously their decisions are going to have a lot of repercussions, whether they end up choosing Amber to win or Johnny to win. They have to be very concise and smart about their decisions. I think they made the right choice here.
Support for Johnny Depp online was exponentially greater than for Amber Heard. Just one example, on TikTok, the Justice for Amber Heard hashtag has 27 million views. Justice for Johnny Depp, 20 billion.
Jesus, 27 million to 20 billion. Oh my Lord. Okay. You guys know the difference between a million and a billion, right? That is a lot of numbers. So those are the 27 million people you cannot trust. But I give you the benefit of the doubt. Obviously, if you speak out, let's hear what you got to say first. But after that, latest.
Heard's attorneys have suggested that perhaps this is because of an orchestrated campaign on behalf of Johnny Depp.
That is utterly baseless. In fact, very early in the case, the prior Chief Judge White had thrown out a count in the counterclaims that related to that. It was absolutely absurd and baseless.
Why do you think the jury didn't believe her?
My sense is that it had a lot to do with accountability, that Johnny owned his issues. And I think it was a sharp contrast to Ms. Heard, who didn't seem, or at least the jury may have perceived, that she didn't take accountability for anything.
You can tell from the hours and hours of footage that are on YouTube and on the internet everywhere that you can tell that she barely takes accountability for things. She always has an answer for something, and it makes it hard to relate to, because normal people, if they know they're wrong, generally they will admit to that wrong. They're not just going to, I don't know, have an answer for everything and have a defensive mode come on every time. So she's very hard to relate.
As you know, this has been closely watched, and in the Me Too context, do you see any larger message beyond the case you tried?
I mean, frankly, we don't. We're here to talk about the case that we tried, right? We encourage all victims to come forward, have their day in court, which is exactly what happened in this case.
Exactly. There isn't going to be any hindrance in the Me Too movement. You're a victim, please speak up, and someone will hear you out. And to be honest, if you're at the point where you want to speak out, I'm sure to some certain degree you're telling the truth, unless you're Amber Heard, who obviously, perhaps, I wouldn't say obviously, but there's a chance that she may have been orchestrating this whole thing from the get-go.
Do you feel confident in your appeal? Ms. Heard does intend to appeal.
We feel very confident that there are no errors that would justify any kind of successful appeal.
Look, there ain't no way she's appealing. First of all, she got to pay a bond, which is, I think, about 8 mil, which she doesn't even have, and she has to pay Johnny anyway, so come on, I would just focus on the matter at hand, which is sussing your life out.
Not since OJ, perhaps, has the trial been so closely watched and the lawyers become famous people in their own right. What has that been like for you, particularly you, Camille? I think I saw someone on social media get a tattoo of your face on their body, which is weird.
Damn, I mean, I can see why. I mean, Camille, you are a beautiful young lady, so I can see you've probably got a lot of fanboys out there. But in saying that, yeah, that's quite intense, especially when you don't come from that world of a public image and social media and stuff, and you don't expect yourself to become that. It is a bit overwhelming. I get it, it's pretty insane, but hey, it is what it is, girl. Do you, and do you, Ben. That's great.
Well, I understand you got a promotion yesterday to partner.
Well deserved.
I was going to say, about time, other partner, right? Camille Vasquez, Ben Chu. Just saying. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
What a weird way to end the interview. Like, it's great. You end on a compliment on a high note, but she seemed a little uncomfortable, didn't she? She was like, yeah, partners. Partners. You guys are partners, you know what I'm saying? You know I have a partner, right? Like, it's not that kind of partner. I think we got the gist of that whole thing. From what I see, Elaine, bit of a sore loser. She has to vent out her issues somewhere, and she did it on live television, which again, like I said, gives her that 15 minutes of fame. And for Camille and Ben, initially they didn't even want to come on the interview, but I think maybe it had to be done, especially, you know, now with their status, they kind of needed to make a statement. And it's great to hear what they had in their minds. You know, it's great to see that they are true to who they are as lawyers and as people, and hopefully this sparks, you know, a movement for people that actually are victims to speak up and hopefully have their case sorted. But yeah, that was just a little quick review of the greatness that is Ben Chew and Camille Vasquez. I hope one day if I'm ever in need legal help, I'll have you guys in my corner. That's all we got time for today. Much love as always. If you enjoyed that video, make sure you leave a like and also subscribe so I can see that pretty face of yours next time. Otherwise, it's me, eLVn, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.